Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores coming today with a Rico report for y'all. Everything is quarterback based. A lot of big updates from a lot of reports and rumors. Nothing we're going to talk about today is necessarily factual, but rumors, and a lot of them are from trustworthy sources, are saying a lot of things centered around this quarterback position that we're trying to deal with. First of all, it's been reported that the Washington football team has packaged an offer for Deshaun Watson to the Texans. Of course, they haven't accepted it yet, otherwise the trade would have went through, or maybe just this entire news is false anyway, it's just a rumor. Also, the Texans are reportedly standing by their same exact asking price that they've been asking for a few months now, pretty much like a year. We're going to talk about what that exactly is. Also, JP Finlay gave an example three-way team trade scenario that could work out for us acquiring Russell Wilson. Definitely got to talk about that. Also, Washington has some interest in Jordan Love and Carson Wentz. Also got to talk about Aaron Rodgers' goodbye letter. I don't know what that was, but it sounds like he's out of Green Bay. Is that retirement, or is that he's ready to move on and go somewhere else? Also, there's some updated Super Bowl odds for all 32 NFL teams. Where do we rank? What teams are we around? Like, what is our range of teams? How bad do the odds makers feel like the Washington Commanders are going to be this upcoming season? And then lastly, a couple of quarterback rumors around the NFL and how they may affect us. And before we dive into all of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Again, a lot of these are probably just false rumors, but these have been reported from fairly trustworthy sources. Who knows, like, even if the source is a trustworthy source, who knows if Rivera even actually said these things, or Martin Mayhew, or if they just told this to the reporter as a smokescreen so that this information could get out and they can actually pursue others trying to hide their cards and things like that. Who knows? So take everything I report today with a grain of salt. You have been warned. But it's really interesting that these reports are even coming out, and there's something to take from all of it anyway, whether it's true or not. And also been on the lookout for more content, especially centered around this quarterback position, and especially free agency and the draft. Coming with more mock drafts and all of that type of stuff. So stay tuned for all of that. And without further ado, let's get it. Alright, so first of all, there's NFL rumors reporting that the Commanders are expected to show interest in a, quote, big ticket, unquote, quarterback market. So apparently we do want a big ticket quarterback, one of the top guys like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get one, but apparently they at least have some interest in at least attempting to acquire one. So it's not like other seasons where we don't even try to go get one of the top guys that's available, where we just automatically rule out the guys that would require us to send first round picks and players and things like that. So at least we know there's going to be an attempt, because Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. I mean, Georgia Bulldog, you know what I'm saying? He had to be great just off of that. You know, we breed champions. But he's not a top tier quarterback, you would say. So even though we offered him last year, I wouldn't even count that as attempting to go and get one of the top guys. Matthew Stafford's above average, but he's not Deshaun Watson. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Russell Wilson, or at the very least what Russell Wilson used to be. Hopefully he gets back to his former self when his thumb injury fully heals. And Deshaun Watson, Pat Mahomes, you know, he's not one of those guys. So we went after a quarterback and we're willing to trade picks and all of that to get that quarterback last year, but it wasn't one of the big guys. Are we willing to step up and like offer multiple first round picks and maybe even some players for one of these guys? Apparently we are. Again, doesn't necessarily say that we will actually go get them, but we may offer it. But we may not be willing to meet the asking price of certain players, like Deshaun Watson. Let's go to Deshaun Watson. So apparently it's been reported that the Houston Texans do not plan on lessening their asking price for Deshaun Watson, which has been 5 to 7 assets, including 3 first round picks, per The Athletic. And then there's a report per Dan Sileo, I believe yesterday, that said Washington has reportedly offered the following for Deshaun Watson: Chase Young.
You what?
2022 first, 2022 second, and a 2023 third. That's crazy. I mean, the fact that Chase Young would basically take the place of having to add 2 more first-round picks. That's really interesting. It's really hard for me to give up Chase Young, though. Jonathan Allen, Chase Young, Terry McLaurin especially, because there's really no point in trading for a quarterback and then now he has nobody to throw to. And you don't have first-round picks to even draft a guy for him to throw to. You're going to have to just completely bank on free agency or finding a late-round gem, because you're also giving up second and third-round picks, apparently. But that's really interesting. If that is true, then that is crazy. I'm mind-blown by the fact that they really are trying to offer a lot. I mean, they're willing to give up Chase Young for a top tier quarterback. I mean, I already reported that they said that they're willing to trade almost anyone, but I mean, that's crazy to hear, like an actual trade package that was reportedly offered by the Washington Commanders. Again, that doesn't meet the criteria that I just gave you for the Houston Texans asking price, but if that's the best offer, maybe they come down and take it. And again, I'm still not exactly sure how I feel about trading away Chase Young or one of those top face of the franchise guys. I mean, even like a Cameron Curl. I really love Cameron Curl. I would hope that we wouldn't have to trade him as well. And then some update on Deshaun Watson's situation. There's a report by Aaron Wilson that says Deshaun Watson disposition can proceed, judge ruled, when Rusty Hardin is available in a few weeks. Plaintiffs who haven't been deposed yet and haven't filed criminal charges can take his deposition after they have been deposed. So just a small update on what Deshaun Watson got going on. Then moving on to Russell Wilson, JP Finlay of NBC Sports Washington gave an example of a 3-team trade that he came up with. This is no report, this is no rumor, nothing. It's literally just a scenario that he came up with, and I want to discuss it. So Washington would end up sending their 2022, 2023, and 2024 first-round picks and Daron Payne to Houston, and then would send their 2023 second-round pick to Seattle. Then Houston would send Deshaun Watson to Seattle, and Seattle would send Russell Wilson to Washington. So we would have to give up, basically, in that 3-team trade, our 2022, 2023, and 2024 first-round picks, Daron Payne, and our 2023 second-round pick for Russell Wilson. That's too much in my eyes. I mean, 3 first-round picks, Daron Payne, I mean, he's probably going to end up leaving anyway, so I wouldn't be too shy about including Daron Payne in a trade package, but only if it at least takes away one of those first-round picks. Then you got to trade away a second as well. I personally do not want to do that. That's too much for Russell Wilson in my opinion, but that's really interesting, and definitely let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. 3 firsts, a second, and Daron Payne for Russell Wilson in a 3-team trade. That's crazy. Also, according to recent reports, Washington has engaged in talks with the Packers for quarterback Jordan Love. That's really interesting because Jordan Love is not an upcoming free agent. We would have to trade for him, but it would definitely require way less trade value than all of these other guys. I actually probably even require less trade value than a Jimmy G, and I prefer to take the potential high ceiling Jordan Love with a really low floor over just the super mid Jimmy Garoppolo. Me personally definitely would trade for Jordan Love before I trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, but I'd really prefer not to trade for either, honestly. I mean, maybe if Jordan Love is going for like a 4th-round pick, maybe, but I'm big on going to get one of those top guys in free agency or via a trade, or go draft like a Malik Willis. Any of those options outside of that, I mean, I could get behind once it happens, but I'm definitely not rooting for them. And again, I mean, just priorities. Jordan Love, don't want him, but I'll take that over Jimmy G, again, especially since he's probably going for way less trade value wise. Then you have Carson Wentz as well, and apparently not only are the Commanders targeting Carson Wentz according to reports, but the Steelers and Broncos as well. And I would love it if he went to like the Steelers or Broncos so that they're out of the way and I don't have to worry about them trying to get my boy Malik Willis. That would make it easier for us to get him. And I don't necessarily want Carson Wentz, but again, I mean, I'll take Carson Wentz over Jimmy G. Carson Wentz is fold God, but so is Jimmy G. At least Carson Wentz comes with elite quarterback play from time to time. He's just very, very, very inconsistent. Jimmy G never plays like an elite quarterback. And then he's also going to throw that game-losing interception for no reason. But like I said, Carson Wentz is expected to be pursued by Washington if he is to be released by the Indianapolis Colts, which is expected just due to cap space and all of that type of stuff. It's pretty much a done deal that he will not be the quarterback for the Colts next year, which means they're actually in the quarterback market as well, especially with how, you know, ready to win their team is built. So they're probably going to dip into free agency or the trade as well. They may not draft a guy, so I'm not worried about the Colts as far as Malik Willis. Plus, we pick ahead of them. We pick ahead of the Colts and the Steelers. But who knows if Ron Rivera is willing to do what he's got to do to get a quarterback that they like, whether it's Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, or any of those guys, because I can definitely see the Steelers trading up ahead of us to go get the guy that they want, and it may just happen to be our guy. So I'm still worried about that, but we are ahead of those guys in the draft. But yeah, man, Carson Wentz, I mean, technically would fit our offense, would be able to throw deep down the field, is mobile, can extend plays with his legs. It would make sense. But again, just because I prefer Carson Wentz and Jordan Love over Jimmy G does not mean I want them. Jimmy G, to me, is just one of the worst case scenarios. And back to Green Bay, I'm not going to read the Instagram post that he put out, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers put out some long message just thanking everybody as if he's moving on, like he's leaving, either retiring or planning on going to a different team. I don't know. I've seen a lot of recent reports that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers relationship has actually gotten way better since this offseason with all of that drama. But I mean, whatever he put on Instagram looks like, let me go ahead and just say all of my goodbyes and thank everybody that I love. I'm out of here. And again, I don't know if that means retirement or if he's leaving, or if this just happens to be him wanting to stir up some interesting news and get everybody talking and stuff like that. But I mean, that looks like a farewell letter to me. Also, the odds checker updated their gambling odds and have the Washington Commanders opening up with plus 5,000 odds to win next year's Super Bowl, which means it's not impossible, but that's also not great. They have us below the Philadelphia Eagles, the Steelers, the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Raiders. The only teams we're ahead of are the Chicago Bears, the New York Giants, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Detroit Lions, the Houston Texans, and the Jets. And in that order too, the Jets have the lowest odds to win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. So they have us as the 26th best team in the NFL this upcoming season. So that's really interesting. I feel like once we get a quarterback, whether it be through the draft, trade, free agency, whatever, that would immediately skyrocket us up. I think it automatically has to. I mean, if you land Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, or Aaron Rodgers, we're automatically in the top 12, at the very least top 15. Even though I don't really care what the gambling people say, what the odds are, I just care that we go out there and win games and actually go to a Super Bowl. And then lastly, two interesting reports revolving quarterbacks around the league that may affect us. First of all, it's a report that says many around the league expect the Saints to bring back Jameis Winston for the 2022 season. So if you're one of those guys like me that's definitely okay with bringing in a Jameis Winston in free agency for something fairly cheap and then drafting like a Malik Willis or something, I could see something like that happening. Even though now that I'm really starting to like study quarterbacks in the NFL, especially like how Lamar Jackson played in his rookie season, Jalen Hurts ended up going out there, and all of these, you know, mobile quarterbacks that are presumed to be very raw, but they end up actually having early success in the NFL season. Then I've gone back and looked at Malik Willis tape in those lenses. I can definitely see Malik Willis starting in his rookie season. I can see him starting week 1 and us being able to win games by just building the offense revolving around his legs and his big arm, and then we'll just work on everything else over time. But still, I could also see a scenario where you bring in a Jameis Winston like free agent, and then you draft Malik Willis, and then you let him sit behind Jameis Winston, because Jameis Winston could run an offense similar to what you may want to run with Malik Willis. Jameis Winston isn't as mobile as Malik Willis, and Malik Willis has a stronger arm as well, which is crazy because Jameis Winston does have a really strong arm. But you can still start to develop a lot of those plays and figure out what type of personnel groupings you want to run. It'll be more so Scott Turner trying to figure it out on his end, while Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback. So once Malik Willis is ready to start, the offense is ready for him. It's gift wrap. Here you go, Malik Willis. Here are these plays, these personnel groupings, all of these formations. This is exactly what we're going to do. You're going to be able to throw the ball deep down the field, run with the quarterback a little bit, way more with Malik Willis than Jameis Winston, but still. And then also, while I have Kirk Cousins on the screen, the Panthers have called the Vikings about Kirk Cousins. Now, who knows if it's actually going to happen? I don't think it's very likely. I mean, Kevin O'Connell just went to the Vikings as their head coach. I just highly doubt he lets Kirk Cousins go. That's his guy anyway. But then again, Kirk Cousins is making ridiculous money, and who would want to deal with that? I'm not exactly sure how the cap hit situation works for that. But again, I just highly doubt that Kirk Cousins ends up on the Panthers. But if he does for any odd reason, I'd be really happy, because right now, the only truly quarterback needy team ahead of us in the draft are the Panthers. Again, there's threats behind us like the Steelers and any of these other quarterback needy teams that are behind us in the draft that may be willing to trade up ahead of us to get one of those guys, even though I'm not exactly sure, because the feeling around the league is that this quarterback class has a very low grade amongst GMs and team owners and things like that, which is what matters most. It doesn't matter what the draft guys say. It doesn't even necessarily matter what I say. If the coaches and the GMs feel like this quarterback class is weak, that means guys shouldn't be going within the top 5 picks. And again, we pick 11th, while the Panthers pick 9th. again, which is ahead of us. So if the Panthers can solve their quarterback situation, we would be the first really quarterback needy team in the draft, because we pick 11th. You have Denver in front of us, but I mean, they seem like they may go free agent quarterback just from everything that I'm hearing rumors wise, and they feel like their team is pretty much ready to go right now. They got the weapons, they got the defense, they just need the quarterback, so they may go free agency as well. Don't be surprised if they end up with like a Carson Wentz realistic. But then you have the Panthers at number 6. So if the Panthers are out of the way at number 6, and if Denver, by the time we're done with free agency, by the time we get up to the draft, they already have their quarterback, maybe the Falcons, but I've seen reports that the Falcons feel like they can at least make a run with Matt Ryan one more year, especially with as much money as he's making. If you're going to pay a quarterback that much, he might as well start. So they may just, you know, wait to get a quarterback later in the draft to develop, or may just wait till next year. But again, if the Panthers are out of the way, that's great news for us as far as acquiring a quarterback if we didn't already in the offseason through free agency or the trade. If we get to the draft and we still don't have a quarterback, Taylor Heinicke is still our projected quarterback, and Carolina has already traded for Kirk Cousins, and the Denver Broncos may have Carson Wentz, we will literally be first in line to get a quarterback out of this draft, even with the 11th pick. But then the Minnesota Vikings will be right behind us at 12, needing a quarterback. Who knows what's going on in Cleveland? You have the Saints at 18. If they keep Jameis Winston, then we're good on that. But then you have the Steelers 20th. Who knows what's going on with Derek Carr with the Raiders? They're 22nd. Who knows what's going on with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals? They're 23rd. Maybe the Tennessee Titans will finally get sick of Ryan Tannehill. They're 26th. And then Tampa Bay has to figure it out at 27 as well. Who knows what's going to go on with the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers at 28th. It seems like Miami's going to believe in Tua. And I mean, technically Detroit is second, but since nobody feels like any quarterback from this draft class is worthy of going second, and there's so much elite defensive talent there, people definitely feel like Detroit's just gonna rock with Jared Goff another season and go and get like a Bryce Young or something next year if they have to. And then of course the Texans are third, and who knows what's gonna happen with the Deshaun Watson situation, but Davis Mills actually played really well, and they're better off going to go get an elite defensive talent or an elite offensive lineman. So again, I think we're pretty straight. The Giants apparently are building around Daniel Jones, so they're gonna get, so they have the 5th and 7th pick, 2 top 7 picks. They're probably going to use it on tackle and an elite defensive talent, which scares me, but at the very least they will not be taking a quarterback that we potentially want. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section, let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. What are you willing to trade for Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, all of these guys? Do you believe any of these rumors? That's the most important part. How do you feel about Jordan Love? How do you feel about Carson Wentz, especially in comparison to Jimmy Garoppolo? Do you feel like any of these scenarios are likely? Do you like that 3-team trade scenario by JP Finlay, or is that too much for you just like me? Also, how do you feel about those Super Bowl odds? Me personally, I don't really care. I don't look into it as much because we could just go out there and go undefeated. Who knows? These guys never have it right in the offseason. I mean, especially before free agency and the draft. But I did still want to just report that for y'all. And ooh, I just got a tweet saying that there's a report that the Jets will make a big push for Cordero Patterson from the Falcons. That's interesting. The Falcons better do whatever they can to keep him. That man went crazy. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. I appreciate all of the support, man. Shouts out to everybody that donates to the channel when I do my live stream. Shouts out to everybody that pulls up to the live streams and leaves a like before they go. Really appreciate it. And shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now. Man, I really appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.